Before we start the show, remember that Dave Smith Unleashed is brought to you by MTS. Call them at 800-640-6873 for reliable, on-time delivery, compliance you can count on, round-the-clock support, superior communication. It's only calling MTS at 800-640-6873, 800-640-6873.
Dave Smith, iconic interview.
Dave Smith back with you here on Dave Smith Unleashed. You know, I've never done a part 3 before with any guest, but that's the respect and admiration I have for my good friend Doug Krikorian from the old McDonnell Douglas days and all the great years at the Los Angeles Herald Examiner. And I think we get along so well because we both have a great love of boxing, which we're going to be talking about in part 3 here. So, Doug, I appreciate you hanging in there and doing this, doing 3 parts with us. And I know the fans are going to love this. Anybody out there who's a longtime LA sports fan and has a love of LA sports and knows about the legend Doug Krikorian. So thanks, Doug.
No problem.
Well, but before we get to the boxing, I just wanted to ask you real quick, your thoughts. You know, college football season is coming up. It's so strange that USC and UCLA are in the Big Ten and there's no Pac-10, no Pac-12 anymore. I hate it. You know where we're headed. It's going to be a 24-team Big Ten. It's going to be a 24-team SEC, 2 power conferences. I don't want to see that. I like the variety. I like conferences all over the country.
Happen.
I know.
It's going to happen.
I hate it.
It's going to, the Pac-12. You see what the Pac-12 is now? Texas State is in it.
Yeah, Oregon State and Washington State are the only 2 left.
Yeah. Fresno State, Boise. Yeah.
You know, the ACC is in trouble. Like some teams are about to bolt. I think the Pac-12 should try to pick off Miami and Florida State and Clemson.
Well, Stanford and Cal should be in the Pac-12. They really should. They should have stayed here. Traveling 3,000 miles back east all the time, and they're in the ACC, right?
Yep, the Atlantic Coast Conference, the California schools.
But that Stanford was too big. They never wanted San Diego State or Fresno State in the Pac-12. We're not going to be with those people.
And remember, Oregon and Washington had agreed to stay. So that meant Cal and Stanford would have stayed too. We would have at least had, 6 teams in the conference.
They could have done Boise State and Fresno State. What's the big deal?
But then at the last minute, they changed their minds and took the money and went to the Big Ten. And that was the end of the Pac-12 in a sense. But anyway, it's weird seeing USC and UCLA playing in the Big Ten. But Doug,
well, to me, everything is weird in sports these days. The ghost runner at second base for extra innings. That's not baseball.
No, it's not baseball.
Come on, Dave. That's not baseball. In baseball, you go extra innings, unless you're in Little League or something like that. I understand that, but not major
That's
leagues.
Over the line. It's not baseball.
And now they're going to have automatic umpires.
That's like when
the umps have been missing calls for years. What about calls in the NFL? Yeah. No one misses more calls than the NFL officials. We all know that.
Remember back when we were kids, Dougie, when we were playing wiffle ball in the backyard? We put a board. We put a board behind the hitter, and if the ball hit the board, it was a strike, whether you swung or not. That's where baseball's going now.
Oh gosh, I mean, so many changes are made. They signed who was it? Was it LSU signed a guy for 4 years for $5 million or something for college?
Yep. Well, you believe that? I do. I read about that this week. Yeah, it's a bidding war now. Everybody's getting paid.
You get $5 million for 3 years. He has to play 3 years in college football.
Yeah, college football. You said in one of the previous shows, you talked about the best fight you ever saw in person. Maybe it was Arguello and Pryor. And, the best fight, I haven't been to as many fights as you, Dougie. The best fight I've ever seen in person was Fernando Vargas and Felix Trinidad in 2001. That's the best fight I've ever seen in person.
And that was a pretty good fight. Yeah,
absolutely. What are the best fights?
Trinidad knocked him out, right? I think
he knocked him down twice in the first round, and then Fernando came back and knocked him down on the 4th and almost knocked him out, and then it was a war from that point on. And Trinidad finally got him in the 11th. But remember, he had his gloves loaded that night, too. He had illegal wraps that night. Remember, Bernard Hopkins caught him in the locker room with illegal wraps, and they made him re-wrap, and Bernard beat the bejesus out of him that night at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. He did.
And Felix never had the same power after they caught him cheating with the hand wraps. Remember that?
That's right.
If you had to put a best 5 of all time, pound for pound, let's see if it mixes up. Who are the best fighters you think in the history of boxing?
Well, naturally, I haven't seen, some of the old timers, so that I have to do the modern, the people that I saw, both on television and, Ray Robinson would have to be in
Number
there.
one, mine
He's
too.
one, Sugar Ray. Ray Leonard, 100% has got to be in it. Ray Leonard might have become the best ever had he not messed up his eye and
Yep.
stayed out of boxing for 2 or 3 years.
That's right.
He was 23 when he got hurt. You
That's
know
right.
that. And he came back at 27. I mean, it was a great fighter, quick on his feet. And just a great
Top
fighter.
5 all time in my book.
I'd have to put him. Of course, you have to put Ali in there, I
Yep.
think, because of just his career.
Without
And
question.
he fought everyone. He fought all the tough guys. And when he fought, there were a lot of great heavyweights around, good heavyweights.
That was the best era, the 70s.
Did he fight Ron Lyle? I'm sure
That
he
was
never
a good.
fought Ron Lyle.
Remember, he was losing after 10 or 11 rounds, and then he stopped him late. Ali, that was a good fight. That was in
he
Las
did.
Vegas.
He did stop Lyle. Yeah,
That was a good fight in Vegas.
he
that
knocked
was.
out Oscar Bonavena.
Oh,
They said he couldn't hit. The hell he couldn't hit. He stopped Foreman. He could hit a little bit.
boy, Oscar Bonavena
he
was one tough SOB. Boy, Bonavena.
Yeah, he was. He was.
What about let's see, you got Sugar Ray Leonard. What about Henry Armstrong? He's got to be in the top 5.
I would say he would be in the top 5, top 10 for sure.
Absolutely.
But the top list, I think Robinson would have to be in there.
Yep.
Sugar Ray, from what everyone tells me, and would he have 180 fights or
Yep.
something like that?
Exactly.
You have to put him in there. And I put Ray Leonard in there. Ray
Yep.
Leonard only had 15 or 20 fights when he fought the great Duran, who had 82.
Yep.
And he stood there fighting a stupid fight.
That's right.
He never backed off 1 inch in that fight. He fought Duran's fight. And you saw what happened when Duran had a fight, Leonard's fight, the next time they fought.
That's what Ray
Beat the
always
hell
said.
out of him.
Ray always said when he was on with me, Duran taught me about psychological warfare, and he tricked me in that first. He got me so pissed off at him, I wanted to kill him, and I didn't fight my fight.
You know what's interesting, David? Had Mike Tyson and Bozo Kaplan to get mad at me because he says, well, Mike Tyson never fought later on in the fight or anything. He never had a tough fight where he always lost when he got in trouble. Well, let's put it this way. When he lost, those fights, first off, were late in his career. And even when he came back, he was never in shape.
No.
I'm talking about the young Mike Tyson that I saw knock out Spinks.
He was awesome.
When he was tremendous.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 212 pounds or 208. I think was he 208 for that fight or 212?
Something like that.
Might have been 208. Can you look that up, David, someday for me?
Lightning quick. He was probably about 210, 215, I would think.
No. When he was at his prime against Spinks and all those fighters, he beat a lot of good fighters.
He did.
He did. Big guys, bigger than him.
But the one knock on him, and Kaplan's right about that. He never came from behind once and dug down deep and came back and won a fight he was losing. He was
I understand.
He was a front runner.
But that I agree with you. But that all happened after he was in prison and after he came back from fighting. He went over and fought Buster Douglas, having 2 or 3, 4, 5 massages a day, sexual massages.
And that was before jail, right? That was before he went to jail.
Yeah, that was before jail. He was never the same.
That's right.
Who was his trainer? Rooney. Kevin Rooney?
Yeah, he wasn't with him that night. Yeah.
No, I know that. He told me. He said when he was ready for Spinks and beating all those guys, no one could beat him.
Yep.
Remember how quick he was? He was a Joe Frazier who was quick.
And knockout power.
I mean, not that Joe wasn't, but he was quick and he took those guys on, and the power in his punches.
In both hands. Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh.
But you cannot put him as an all-time great. No, you're right, because he got, he never
not top 5.
Came from it. No, you can't put him in there.
I'll give you my top 5 heavyweights and see if you agree, Dougie. I got Jack Johnson 1, Ali 2, Holmes 3, Foreman 4, Sonny Liston 5. That's my top 5.
It's pretty good. Jack Johnson, like Bozo Kaplan told us yesterday, that was a different era when he fought. It was different. I'd have to go more modern. I'd have to put Joe Louis number 2 to Ali. I'd have to put him number 2. Holmes number 3. And then after that, maybe, just Johnson obviously belongs in there. I mean, number 4, and then probably Dempsey or Marciano number 5.
George Foreman.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, George Foreman. Yeah, or Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sonny Liston, they wouldn't fight him for 3 years. No one would fight. You think Floyd Patterson, that Custody Amato didn't want him to fight?
He told him not to take the fight.
Patterson had all those bogus fights against Roy Harris and who else? A bunch of guys that couldn't fight.
Peter McNeely. Peter McNeely's father.
Peter McNeely.
His father.
They kept him away. Liston was kept away when he was in his prime for about 3. He was in his prime in 55, 56.
That's when he might have been the best heavyweight of all time, the mid-50s.
I agree with you.
Yep. And he was lying about his age. He was probably... His sister said when he was champion that he was born in 1919, not 1932, which would have made him 45 when he fought Ali the first time. So he was no way he was 32 in that fight when he fought Ali. Look at his face. He was at least 40.
He wasn't in shape then.
No.
I mean, he was past his prime. But in his prime, I mean, how did Eddie Machen ever go 12 rounds with him or 10 rounds with him? I don't know. Eddie Machen was a tough guy.
He was clever. He knew how to. He was a survivor.
He knew how to fight. Yep. I mean, a real scientific fighter. He definitely knew how to fight, although Johansson knocked him out over there in Sweden.
Well, I got to give you...
Yeah.
I got to give you tremendous credit, Doug. I remember we were talking before the Terrence Crawford-Errol Spence fight. I told you I like Spence. And you said, you're insane. Terrence Crawford is as good as any of those 80s welterweights. The Hearns Leonard era. He could have fit right in. He's one of the best I've ever seen. And I said, I think you're wrong about this, Dougie. And then Terrence came out and beat the you-know-what out of him. And I called him and I said, you were right. You were absolutely right about Bud Crawford.
Jerry West, before he died, told me that he was the best fighter he's seen since Sugar Ray Leonard.
Wow.
And I agree with him.
Well, okay, now he's going...
a great fighter, and I will pick him against... I know...
That's my next question.
I think he could outbox him, and I think he could carry one. He did not look good against the Russian, but that Russian guy's a very unique fighter, very tough guy.
Madrimov,
Yeah, and he was not in tremendous shape for that. He probably, he took every fighter has an off fight. They all do. Ali had it against Doug Jones, and there were fights that he wasn't at the top of his game. When he was in his prime.
And, styles make fights. And, Madrimov is a granite chin Russian guy that comes straight forward. He puts his head in your chest and pressures you, and it's impossible to hurt him. And he put a lot of pressure and gave Terrence some trouble there. But Canelo doesn't fight that way. He's more of a counterpuncher and makes you come to him.
And he probably came in that ring weighing 165, 170.
Yeah.
You understand? And now Terrence...
He walks around 175, 170 between fights, Terrence does.
Crawford. Yeah. Well, Crawford didn't come in that fight weighing 170. No way. Now they tell me right now he's weighing about 165,
and
170.
Did you see him sparring? He's got abs. He looks good at 65. He looks really good.
Well, he's a much better boxer. I don't care... Canelo has been very artfully matched during his career, especially the last 5 years. He's fought no one. Who's he fought? His biggest win the last 5 years is over Triple G, a third fight.
And he was shot.
That would be his...
Triple G was shot.
Completely shot. Other than that, every guy he's fought has been a setup, preordained.
Absolutely.
Am I right? Just go back and look.
I've always said,
he fought one guy, Bivol. And what happened? He got his ass kicked.
Oh, but yeah, I've always said I think Canelo's one of the most overrated fighters I've ever seen. I'm with you. And
I agree.
And he's on the downside now. I think Crawford's going to win that fight. I'm with you all the way up at 68.
Oh, yeah. I think definitely will win that fight. Believe me, he can move. He knows how to, he's quicker. And he's strong. I think he's just as strong as that guy.
People are going to be shocked that how hard he can bang, and I think he's going to get Canelo's attention and maybe hurt him with some of his shots in that fight.
I'll tell you one thing: Canelo better take a lot of drugs for that one, he will,
like he did before the first Triple G fight.
He'll be all buffed up. He'll believe me. He's been buffed up before.
I was at the first Triple G fight in Vegas, Doug, and I was at the weigh-in, and Canelo had his shirt off up there, and he had boils on his back and all the typical steroid signs, and then he failed the steroid test after the fight. I looked at him, and I said, this guy's on the juice. Look at his back. Look at the boils on him.
And he got his ass kicked in that fight, too.
I think he lost the first 2 fights to Triple Z, if you ask me.
Yeah. And he lost to, who's the other guy he lost to? There's a Mexican fighter.
He lost to Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, and another one. There was another guy.
He lost to Bivol. He lost to Floyd.
Black fighter.
Well, he lost to Erislandy Lara, in my opinion, but he got a gift decision. Yeah. He got a gift decision in that fight. Canelo did.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. A lot of people love him. He's favored. I think he was 2-1 favorite right now. A lot of people think it might be even at fight time. It won't go down.
I think Crawford's going to do to him what Floyd did to him: a boxing lesson, school him.
I think he will, especially the first 6-7 rounds, and then it starts opening up even more.
What do you think about the heavyweight division these days with the Klitschko's and then Tyson Fury and now Alexander Usyk from Ukraine? And it's a far cry from the glory days.
I don't pay attention to it, to be honest with you. No attention at all. There's just no good fighters.
You're not missing much.
No one interests me. I know the Ukrainian's not a bad fighter. He's a tough guy, but would he have beaten Bonavita? Would he have beaten Ron Lyle? Would he have beaten... No.
No,
I agree with you. I mean, would he have beaten those tough guys?
He's a tough guy with a pretty good chin, but he's limited. He's not a hard puncher. He comes in, he's plodding.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's a journeyman back in the 70s, or in the 90s too. He's a journeyman.
I agree.
Yeah.
Jimmy Young, would he have beaten Jimmy Young?
No.
I doubt it.
Young would have outboxed him, of course. Yeah.
Outboxed him, of course. Young was a kind of a big guy, wasn't he?
Jerry Corey would have beaten him.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Jerry Corey was one tough guy.
Well,
very tough.
He was from Bellflower, and you from Long Beach. You must have had some good stories and good run-ins with Jerry Corey back in the day.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, a lot. I'll never forget. One of them was very racial. We're watching the Thrill in Manila, and he's in front of me. And he kept saying, and Jerry, you got to remember, Jerry's a hillbilly dude that talked in the slang. And he kept using an N-word. And in front of him were 2 big black guys. Ugh. And he kept saying, kill that motherfucker. And then he just said it, screaming it. Ugh. And I felt very uncomfortable. I mean, my God, I felt sorry for these black guys in front. They looked back one time and they saw who he was. What they going to do? Start a fight with him? They didn't say anything,
Is there anybody you like, outside of Bud, Errol Spence, then you got, Tank Davis and the lightweights, Ryan Garcia, forget Jake Paul and all that nonsense. But is there anybody you like in the modern fighters?
I thought Stevenson would become...
Shakur Stevenson, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so until I've seen him, and he's not developed like I thought he would.
He looked really bad in his last fight.
He looked terrible. And the guy, Ennis, I thought Ennis, why doesn't he fight anybody?
Oh, Ennis? Boots. Yeah, Boots. He was supposed to get the next fight. He was supposed to fight the Bud Crawford, Errol Spence winner.
He didn't want to fight Crawford. No. They didn't want to put him in against Crawford.
His people wouldn't let him do it.
One time, he almost killed him. No, please. He leaves his chin open. Haven't you watched the way he sticks his chin out? Yep. You can't do that with Crawford. Crawford wouldn't kill.
Is Larry Holmes the most underrated heavyweight of all time? I think so.
Absolutely. Great fighter. He was a tremendous fighter. I mean, I saw all his fights. I covered every one. I was there for the Norton fight. That was a hell of a fight.
You might disagree with me on that. I think Larry Holmes would have beaten even the young, awesome. I think Holmes would have beaten him. I think he would have fought Tyson the same way that Buster Douglas did. The jab, the uppercut, keeping his distance. I
agree with you there.
I think he would have won.
Interesting. It would have been. I don't think he had that jab, and he would have kept him off. And he was big. Larry Holmes was big, a big guy. He always weighed what?
220?
220. I mean, he was big.
And the uppercut.
And strong. But boy, I tell you, if Tyson hit you, oof.
How about a prime Ali against a young 21-year-old Tyson? That would have been some explosive matchup. Huh? I think Ali would have. I think Ali would have outboxed him and schooled him. Got him into the late rounds.
Yeah, he might have. But boy, Tyson would have been all over him. He had trouble with Joe. That style of fighting.
Yes.
Pressure remember fighters. That. He had trouble with Joe. And he should have lost that fight in the Thrill in Manila. You know who messed up on that one.
Was it Eddie Futch in his corner?
Eddie
who messed
Futch,
up?
He stopped it. The other guy wasn't going to come out. He was not going to come out. Gene Kilroy will tell you that. Gene, that is fact. That is fact.
Wow.
He was not coming out for the 15th round. It was not.
And he said, this must be what death feels like before the 15th round.
Yeah, and he looked over there, and Eddie Futch and Joe wanted to go out. You know, Joe.
He couldn't see.
God, he got knocked down. How many times did he get knocked down against Foreman? 6.
Well, yeah.
Kept getting up.
8, if you count the
6.
second fight. Yeah. And then Frazier couldn't see. He had both eyes shut. But, yeah, you're right. If he would have come out for the 15th round, he probably would have won.
No, he would have. They were going to stop it. That, according to Gene Kilroy.
Wow.
Who's a guy you should get on your podcast one time. Gene would do it. Oh, Gene, very interesting guy.
Very interesting guy.
Yeah, he's last of the entourage. Is Pacheco still living?
No, I think he died, Dr. Ferdy. I think he died a year or two ago, if I'm not mistaken. The fight doctor.
Yeah, they're all dead now. They're all dead. All
yeah,
dead.
I think Larry Merchant's still around. He's in his 90s.
Yeah, but he wasn't part of his entourage. I'm talking about all these entourage, you know, his flunkies.
Who was this photographer? What was his name?
Yeah, from L.A. His photographer. He was part of it.
I used to work with his son on a boxing show. Damon, my memory's going just like yours, Dougie. I can't remember all
My memory, there's too many people. I could remember, you know, it's a weird thing with me. I could name the starting lineup for the 55 Dodgers.
Me too.
But certain names, like the guy I work with, how could I forget his name? I work with him. Brian. His first name was Brian.
Oh, he was out in Antelope Valley, right? I remember him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian, what's his last name? Please tell me his last name.
And I worked with him too, and I can't remember his name.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well, who's the best fighter that you ever saw in person?
Jose Nopolis.
Really? Now, there's a surprise.
Yeah.
You saw Sugar Ray Leonard. You saw Ali. You saw all the greats.
Yeah, Nopolis was the best I've ever saw.
Wow.
He stopped, what's his name? He won the welterweight championship.
He stopped Hedgemon Lewis. Yeah. Curtis Coates at the Forum when he won the title. Yep.
I was there. I covered the fight. Yeah,
wow. That was in 68 at the Forum.
He was a hell of a fighter. Yeah, 68. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I did a sidebar on that fight. Bud Frillo covered it, but I did a sidebar.
Wow.
He won every round. I saw him at the sports arena against a good fighter named Emil Griffith.
Oh.
Who was a very good fighter.
Yes.
He was a champion for several years. He won every round from him, just playing with him.
You know, it's interesting. Emil Griffith was gay, but he could never come out because back in those days, it would have been the end of his career. So he had to live with that secret. And the people around him were saying like, it killed him and it gave him psychological stress. And he couldn't come out. You just couldn't do it back then.
No, he couldn't. And he was a gay. And who's the guy he killed?
Benny Kid Perrette.
Yeah, Benny Kid. And the referee who never reffed another fight. He was a great referee.
He should have been charged with murder.
Yeah, I know. He never stopped it. How could you not stop it? I was at my grandma's place watching it in Fresno, and he was just killing him. My God. We fought in Fresno, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he knocked the guy out of Fresno. He was a Fresno fighter who was undefeated and everything. They had 13,000 people come out the old stadium, old race, Kearney Bowl. It was called Kearney Bowl.
Oh, okay.
And he knocked him out in 2 or 3 rounds. He was a very good fighter, Emil Griffith.
Oh, he sure was. He was a world champion. Yeah. Dick Tiger, do you remember in that era?
Yeah, Dick. Yeah. Hurricane Carter knocked out, but he was a middleweight.
Remember, Bob Foster, brutal with a left hook, knocked him cold in Madison Square Garden when the night he won the light heavyweight championship.
And look what Joe Frazier did to Bob Foster. There were idiots who were saying, "Oh, he's going to be." I said, "No way! If he lasts 2-3 rounds, I don't think what is it, second round?
Second round knockout.
He lasted 2 rounds.
That was in Detroit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could go on doing this all day, couldn't we, Dougie? We're out of time, but
well, with fights,
yeah.
Olympic. We haven't even talked about the Olympic Auditorium. Gene LaBelle, the bouncer over there, put poor Mexican fans, drunk Mexican fans. He put them to sleep. The sleeper hold. He put them to sleep.
Judo Gene LaBelle, the toughest, best street fighter ever. Everybody I talked to says nobody could ever take him in a fight.
And not in a street fight.
No, if he got his hands on you.
He fought, he had the first MMA fight in Utah.
He knocked out Steven Seagal one night. He choked him out.
Yeah. Yeah, he choked him out. Yeah, that's a true fight. That's a true story. Seagal wasn't pulling his punches against other stuntmen. You know, Gene was a stuntman,
Yes.
and the Seagal thought he was a tough guy, and he said, "Let me see what you got." And he said, "What do you mean?" He says, I hear you're the toughest guy around." You know, this is when Seagal was just had the big reputation, this or that. And he says, try your stuff on me, see what you could do. And he choked him out in a second. Defecated. I already defecated in this.
Yep. I remember one night, before we let you go here, Doug, my dad used to take me and all the neighborhood kids to the wrestling matches on Saturday nights at KCOP Channel 13 back in the 70s. And we all sat out, we'd stand out in the parking lot afterwards and get autographs. So the last guy out of the locker room, here came the Golden Greek, John Tolis. And I walked up to him and I said, "Can I have your autograph, Mr. Tolis?" And he said, "Get out of my way, you little bastard." And he shoved me. I was a hero. My dad was standing there laughing, and I was a hero in school the next day when I told that story.
Yeah, well, he's a good guy. He actually was a good guy.
You know, years later, he went to my gym, Racquetball World out in Woodland Hills, the nicest guy you'd ever meet in your life. And I asked him about that. He said, "Oh, you know, we had to stay in character back then. We get fired if we were nice to people outside of the ring."
Oh, yeah. John Tolis.
Well, we got to do this again. We got to do this again soon, Dougie. This is fantastic stuff. The time just flew by.
I love you, man.
Oh, you too. Thanks for coming on, Doug. We'll do this again soon.
Like I said earlier, you're one of the few people that remember those times.
Oh,
all the people I always want to talk to. Like I used to talk every day with the great Melvin Dersflack, the columnist for 45 years with the Examiner. And the people that I love talking with sports, and you're one of the few left.
Thank you,
Alan Malamud. Well, you are.
Thank you.
That I could talk sports with. You know, I have a friend in Detroit named Mark Immersion, and there's not very many guys. You know, and he's 70. In their 70s already. You're not that old, but
I call you and ask you to come on the show, and we wind up on the phone for an hour, just to ask you to come on the show.
Well, I could talk sports forever. I mean, I do have memories. Sometimes I forget, names. My God, but it's a funny thing. I don't forget what happened.
Great stuff, Dougie. We're going to do this again soon. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
There he goes, the great Doug Krikorian, a 3-part show, and everybody in LA is going to be, and everybody who listens all over the world to Dave Smith Unleashed is going to love this show. And of course, if you want to know the Dave Smith Unleashed schedule, follow me on Twitter @DaveSportsGod. And of course, you've got to subscribe on YouTube. Go to the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast. Go to youtube.com/ @the Dave Smith Unleashed podcast. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, and make sure you comment under the show in the YouTube comment section. And we'll talk to you next time right here on Dave Smith Unleashed.